Okay. Now I'm recording, but I'm not worried about it. It's how I start everything is like I just record it and I go for a little bit and then I get into it.
Yeah, at one point I wanted to start a podcast and it was so funny because it was with another person and I hit
Mhm.
record and I was like, all right, we're recording. And they were like, shit, we don't have an intro. What are we supposed to say? And I was like, I don't know. And the whole podcast was like 30 minutes of us deciding how to start a podcast.
Sometimes that's the best first episode though. I think I wore this shirt last time. This time I did this. It's okay. What's up, everybody? I just want to pop in here real quick right before everything starts and say, if you enjoy the video, if you enjoy this series, if you enjoy the person I'm interviewing, please give that video a like and subscribe. And if you want me to interview anybody in the future, if you have any questions for anybody in the future, if you have any questions for the people who I'm interviewing currently, I may be doing re-interviews at some point in the future. Any comments or pop by on the streams. No matter what, I'll write them down, we'll figure it out. They will get cached away somewhere. Yeah, that's it. Enjoy the video. My wonderful guest today always rolls out a red carpet for me, so today we're going to do that for them. They are someone I am proud to call a friend, have been nominated for multiple awards for streaming, partnered on Twitch, the mayor and purveyor of all that is the pond, aka Pyesees. And we'll have you pop in. There you are. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
That
How we
was
feeling?
quite the red carpet. When you put it out like that, I sound a lot more professional than I actually am.
Oh, but you are though. I mean, you go through the accolades, which I didn't even go through all of them. Like, you know, there's even stuff like YouTube count, follower count, like all that stuff, you know, and because I could have taken the angle of like some data stuff, and I was like I enjoy that, but I'm a nerd, so like I don't know how
I
many
also
people,
enjoy
you
it.
know.
A good data sheet.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of Excel sheets that I have on my computer is kind of ridiculous at this point.
I don't know if I have spreadsheets, but I definitely have lists of info.
Oh, list. Love me a good
Yes.
list.
I have almost nothing else. I have a bunch of videos that who knows if I'll do something with, and then I have lists.
I recently reached over 100 notes in my phone, and I thought that was an
Mm.
achievement. So I'm gonna make a sticker for my phone
Let me
that
redo
says.
the intro. Yeah.
I was like, huh?
And 100 note haver.
It's probably like 150 now.
You know what's funny is you were like, oh, let me know if anything like peaks or whatever. But Discord has a great way of just like cutting off anything that's gotten too loud, or if anything's like in the background, it cuts it out too. So even if
Yeah.
your mic was trying to peak, because I'm looking at my levels, it won't
Mhm.
let it.
Yeah, I used to have a big problem with Discord because I used to use my well, I still use my Blue Yeti whenever I'm just like gaming with people. Um, but it used to like, I don't know, it would like drop off a lot. I don't
Mm.
know if it was like the settings I had or something, but a lot of people would say like my sentence would just like cut off in the middle. So I don't know. Maybe I was being too loud. I am a very loud, boisterous person whenever I do get started, and I
Hmm.
cackle a lot. So that's a
I
problem.
I feel you. I do the same thing, especially when other substances get involved. But we don't have to talk about that. We can, you know. So the main point of the interview being, when did you first start kind of watching and listening to ASMR?
Holy cannoli. Probably like 3 years ago.
Mm.
I was streaming on Twitch as a gamer, and I got raided by two different ASM artists while I was playing The Sims and then a horror game. And I got
Okay.
raided by them, and then I started like supporting them and watching them, and through that, like one day they would be gaming, and then the next day they did ASMR, and then one day they were streaming ASMR, and I was like, what is this?
Hmm.
And then it kind of just spiraled from there because I went into a rabbit hole of, oh, so this is ASMR, not the ASMR that the internet knows.
Yeah, that's, I mean, The Sims makes sense to me. And then you're like, oh, and then the horror games. I was like, well, that doesn't, why are they
Well,
rating you in a horror game?
the two ASM artists, they were variety, so they did like gaming and ASMR. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming when they rated me, they were not doing ASMR.
Yes, that's what I would assume also. That's, because that's wild. But I mean, I know some people, I mean, I played like, what was it? Inscription, which is like a little creepy, but it's not like a horror
I love
game.
that game. That game is
It's,
so good.
I have yet to beat it. I know that there's another game section or whatever that I haven't gotten
Oh,
to. So like
okay. Yeah, so
yeah,
I didn't
so
know about that. Spoilers,
mhm.
but
Mhm.
but, but yeah, I've played it. I played it for like on and off for a couple of months, and then I was like, one night I was just like feeling it, and I was like, I'm gonna beat this game, and I like finally made it past, and I haven't finished it. So
Yeah, because it feels like it just branches into a whole new game, and then it's like,
yeah,
okay, well,
it's
I
like,
have the
oh
feeling of
man,
beating it. Yeah, my phone just like was like, hey, that next question you wanted? No.
it's gone.
Yeah, you're done. You're done, buddy. Figure it out on the fly. Because I think it's really interesting hearing where people first started with ASMR, because it's, for me, it was like back in school. I remember hearing a teacher. This is probably, I don't want to tell this story literally every time, but like there's a teacher who would like come over and like bend down next to like other students, like squat down, and like during test time or whatever, and then they would like be whispering back and forth, and I would get tingles in the classroom. And I would just be like, I don't know what this is, but it like I would like just be stopping mid test and just be like vibing. Uh, and I was always like the third one to like hand in my test, and if I just didn't stop, I'd probably be the first one. But even back then, I was a tingle addict, and I didn't know what it was, so I would like Google like people whispering, because like the term ASMR wasn't around yet. So it's like I'm
Right.
always super curious on like people's first interactions with it. I think it's super interesting for you that you saw it on Twitch first, because I was just
Yeah.
such a big YouTube person. Still am, but I told myself I'd never go on Twitch. Here we are. Um,
Well, I only ended up on Twitch out of spite. So,
well, there's a story.
no, it was literally just because I ran a Discord, and it was like a gaming Discord, and it started because I just wanted more gaming friends, and I would go on like Reddit and like look for people that are like needing gaming friends and like pull them into my Discord and collect them and stuff. And
Mhm.
so one night it was like me and like five other people, and they were all like, "Yeah, we're gonna start Twitch streaming." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "What if I started Twitch streaming?" And they were like, "Oh, no, you'd quit within a week." And I was like, "Huh?"
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Mhm. And
and
again, here we are.
then
But
and
yeah,
then here we are.
yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people start on Twitch with gaming. I mean, I did, and then you just switch over at some point to
Yeah.
like something else, or you get an audience and you keep going. But I feel like it's so hard to be a variety streamer. But like,
Oh yeah,
it's,
definitely.
yeah, you need to be huge already, I feel like, to even pull that off. But
Yeah, you had to be
um
known as like your personality first, I guess,
mhm,
and then like the people that vibe with you will always vibe with you no matter what. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, one of my mods doesn't even like ASMR, so like it's
are we talking about soup?
Oh, we're talking about
Uh,
soup. We're always talking about soup. When are we not talking about soup? My soup showed up 3 times in the ASMR Streamer Awards. The mod that doesn't like ASMR.
So funny.
So funny. So good. I love it.
Anytime soup appears in my stream, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm honored. I know
Yes.
you don't want to be here.
Well, soup likes the people, you know. We were joking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this yesterday. I started jumping in my mod VC like 20 minutes. It ended up being like an hour, but 20 minutes before I went live. Just to kind of like, I don't know, talk to people before I like go live. So I've been having issues before stream, and I was like, let me just talk to people. So I popped in and I was like, Soup, you're the people's mod. You're not an ASMR mod. So that was good. That was a good time.
It's so
Uh,
true though.
yeah. And the name Force Fed Soup. Like,
Yeah.
how are you not going to enjoy it? Speaking of names, your name, I'm thinking it's pretty easy to has a pretty easy backstory to yours username. Although you had
Yeah.
one before this.
Yeah. So the Pisces name, actually, I think I have my journal here. Total derailing. That's probably gonna happen a lot. It's the ADHD is ADHDing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm
is
here
it
for
here?
it.
Nope, that's the other one. This is my Pisces journal. But the Pisces name obviously comes from me being a Pisces. Because everyone has like throughout my entire life, they're like, if anybody represents the Pisces zodiac sign, it's you because all you do is cry. And I was like, oh, okay, that checks out. Madman scribbling in here. Maybe I
It's all
don't have
right.
it anymore.
The Diary of a
But I
Madman.
had I used to have a list. Oh wait, it is another one. But it was between Pisces and I wanted to be something tied to the color indigo. Are you laughing at me
Okay.
pulling freaking journals?
Yeah, I'm like, not only does she have one.
I am a journal hoarder. I wanted to be indie. It was going to be a play on indie music and indigo, and I'm kind of obsessed with Ghost, which was the theme of my other stream, my
Mm,
gaming stream. It was a ghost mascot. So I wanted to kind of keep that, and it was supposed to be Indighost.
okay.
Um, but all those names were taken, and I couldn't misspell it well enough. So I just decided on
Yeah.
Pisces, and I wrote like, you probably can't see it, but in this journal, yeah, you definitely can't see that. But I wrote like 4 different ways to
Oh,
spell
yeah,
Pisces.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I guess this one is the best way to spell it. So that's how we ended up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, there's no other way to say it other than Pisces. But, the other spellings, you could say pieces, maybe. So it's,
Oh yeah. And I
yeah.
do still get called pieces, but like I'm fine with it. Call me whatever. I don't care.
At that point, that's on them. That's not on you. It's- and it is unfortunate. I completely forgot. It is unfortunate we didn't get to do this the day before Pi Day because that would have been perfect. That would
Yes.
have been
It
perfect.
totally would, but
But
I
I literally
suck.
thought about it the day before. So, like, I also
I
suck.
totally didn't
So,
even know until like you messaged me and then that night everyone was like, it's almost pie day and I was like, oh.
mhm. I was trying to be all like coy about it. I was like, hey, maybe we can get an interview like, Wednesday.
I'm
And I'm like,
sorry.
I'll just slam out the editing for the next day. It's like, I'll fucking take off of work. I don't give a
No,
shit.
no, it's
It
fine.
was.
Just put this in a time capsule. We'll unlock it in
Mhm.
like a year on pie day. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just keep it. I had another interview earlier today. I'll just do that one. It's fine. We're good. I already have a backup plan. Yeah, maybe. I mean, hey, maybe the revisiting will be in a year, and we can try and get it. I'll give you like a 2 week notice for that one instead of a 2 day notice. Yeah, You don't have to. I'm curious on the name Arcadia because that was the gaming name, right?
Yeah, pure Arcadia, but everyone
Yeah.
called me Art or Arcadia, and that
Hmm.
still is like my gaming name, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Like people that I still game with, they call me like Arc or K. But pure Arcadia, that was from my Tumblr days when I was like 12 years old. Me and a friend had the bright idea to get Tumblr famous,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were like, we need cool Tumblr names. And I was like, all right, let's look up pretty words. We're very original.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
One of the words is Arcadia, which means like peace or like a place of peace, an oasis or something like that.
Hmm.
And then I was like, oh, my name is Kay. What if I put K in Arcadia? Because like my name is spelled Kai.
Got
Um,
it.
so
Mm-hmm.
so it's actually Kai, but K. Everyone calls me K. And so I like put that in there and I was like, Arcadia is not good enough. So I put pure in front of it so people really know that it's a place of peace.
Mm-hmm. Pure
And then
peace.
it just stuck forever. And that's been the name.
Mm-hmm. The gamer tag. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the gamer tag.
I mean, mine was Zeke and Cyanide for the longest time. So
Oh
it was those two pretty much. So it was just kind of like, yeah, well, Like my stream background, my old background, I had my artist buddy remake a new nameplate because it's still a part of the original one. So there's a new nameplate that says mismatched over. It's just literally glued onto it, and like nobody knows. And it's perfect. I love it. I was like, it's my own little secret.
It's just back there crying for help.
Let me out. It's very funny to me.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That poor plate.
I don't have a great segue for this, so we're just going to go to the next thing.
We don't have a segue, but we do have a scooter that limps along very sadly.
We do. Every now and again, there's just a little bit of gas that comes out. That's, God, if that doesn't describe everything I've ever done. It's like, man, we're getting there one way or the other. So for you, I would say between Larry, I don't know if the star's name is just Star.
It's Goober.
It's Goober. I was like, I know it has another name, but I feel like I've heard you refer to it as Star at some point. I mean, for somebody like you, and like I you know, when you think of somebody, you also think of like other people like in their like genre, right? It's like, so like with you, I associate like with Bowman and like the experimental and super like creative stuff.
High compliment.
And it's I think it's true for you, and like creating all this new stuff. Like, how does that kind of happen? Like, do you have a process, or is it more just kind of, it just kind of comes as you like find things?
So like whenever I made the Pyesees channel, I knew that I wanted it to be like the pond, because it's like Pyesees is represented by fish. So I knew I wanted it to be like the pond, and I had all these like crazy ideas for the stream, which none of them have been implemented because I can't figure things out.
Preaching to the choir.
But I had like all these cool things, and then Larry, I had gotten this thing. It was like a variety pack of different creatures. And I was like, which one of these are most pond-like? There wasn't a fish in there. And I was like, I guess a snail could be found at a pond. And I like put them on my mic because I used to only show my hands. I didn't show my face. So I wanted like something for people to look at. So I put a snail on top of the mic. And then they were like, oh, that's Larry. And then Larry started breeding a personality that I never knew would follow me everywhere I went. People would just come in and be like, Larry does this. Larry is like this. And I was like, oh, okay. So then creatures started getting added because I had all these things. And it sort of just kind of, it's like if I had the match, but everyone else had the gasoline, and they just fucking chuck that shit on there. Yep. And it kind of just breeds into a life of its own at this point. Everything that comes from that world is like collab at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's great about streaming, is having that collaborative kind of like, just people just insert stuff and you're like, okay, yeah, we'll roll.
Yeah, like people will give me great ideas and I'm like, oh my God, can I use that? And they're like, yeah. Right. And I'm like, great.
I swear every streamer is built by committee. It's not like, it's not just them. It's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah, most of my stuff that's on my stream came from the community or from other streamers telling me that I should implement this or that. I probably have like a 10% part, and then the rest of it is like everyone else helping.
I want to say 75% of just my mod chat is them yelling at me to do things. It's just like, hey, you should do this. You should put this either in Discord, stream, like this. I'm like,
I always say, I'll do that right after stream. And after stream, I'm like, crackers.
Yes.
That would be good right now.
I mean, you have to take care of yourself after stream, especially when you're doing it for a couple hours. It just feels so exhausting sometimes after, like, it's the most like mentally and sometimes emotionally exhausting thing after like 3 hours. And people are like, oh, I go to work for 8 hours. It's like, stream for 2 and tell me how you feel, because it's like people come in and just like either just say stuff, or it's just you constantly being on too. Like, I turn my brain off at work all the time. Like,
yeah, like whenever I worked in retail, like most of the time I was like stalking stuff because I was a manager. So I would be like doing desk work or out stalking. I wasn't like constantly like being observed, or like I would have to work with customers and stuff, but it wasn't like all the time. Whereas like streaming, it's hard to explain it to somebody who doesn't stream. Like my roommate works like a factory job. And so they're like, "Oh man, it was tired." And I was like, "Okay, I gotta go stream for 4 hours." And they're like, "Yeah, you have fun with that." And I'm like, "Yep."
It's like, oh, I will, but
Yeah, it's hard to describe because like you don't want to seem like ungrateful or like you don't enjoy it, because I totally do enjoy it. But at the same time, it's like as soon as I press that like in stream button, it's like it like hits me all at once, and I'm like,
yes.
okay, it's bedtime.
Yeah. It's not like there's pros and cons to everything, and it's just
Right.
with streaming, it's like I can't do that for 8 hours. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a 12-hour stream. Like I can do that, but like once a quarter would probably be my max for that. It's
People ask me all the time when I'm gonna do like a 12-hour or 24-hour, and I'm like, probably never.
Yeah. Some people just also aren't built for it. But like I said too, like if I didn't have to work another job, I would just stream. Like where I'm at right now, I can't afford to do that, so we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So if you like your streamer, go support your streamer. And that's literally for anybody, not just for me. Because they will stream more if you support them. That's just how it works most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like as far as your like triggers and stuff, it's like for me it's definitely like, oh, seeing somebody else do it, or like just being a creep in a store and then being like, I'm gonna go tap on this, or like I don't know how you find your stuff, because you literally put, at least you used to, it wasn't like a paper towel roll, but it was almost like thicker than that over the
a pallet wrap.
That's what it was.
Tube.
Okay,
yeah. I still do that. But yeah, a lot of the triggers are from the very start, and it was mainly me. Like when I was working, I knew that I was gonna like start streaming ASMR, so I worked at a pet store. And anytime something would roll around, I would like mess with it, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking that home for sure." And then I added, like, I kind of just found things around my house, and most of the time it is from me like watching others, and then I get an idea. I did have a channel points redeem. I haven't turned it back on since moving because I'm still unpacking. But
so am I. It's been months. It's all right.
Yeah, I've been here since January. This is a problem. But
I've been here since August.
Dude, the box life is just so comfortable. I can't.
There's something about it. I don't know.
Dude, I love keeping things in boxes. If I could, I would, but my roommate's probably gonna kick me out if another box ends up in the hallway. But a lot of the time, like with trigger improv, that's what I called it, trigger improv. It was my excuse for people to redeem that, so I had to like think on my toes. And basically, I grab an item somewhere in my apartment, and I have to make a sound with that. I have to make a trigger out of that. So a lot of my triggers, like the sad looking piece of aluminum foil, and that came from trigger improv, and I just like put it over the mics and poke at it, and that's one of my triggers now. So so a lot of the time it's just like whatever I could find.
I don't know if you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I listen to their...
People keep telling me to. I have yet to watch it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not for everybody, but the point of it being that they have a podcast that they're basically rewatching their episodes and then like talking about each one.
I love those podcasts.
It's so good. They haven't done it in a while now. They've covered so much at this point, but one of the things was they actually brought up ASMR in one of their episodes, and I'm pretty sure it was Glenn. He was like, yeah, and then there's the ASMR people, and then those weirdos doing whatever they're doing or whatever, and just like completely like disregarded it. And I was like,
Yeah, anytime there's ASMR in the media, I'm like, yeah, and they continue talking. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's like we were almost there. But I saw something in the ASMR Discord where I think it was Lav who brought it up. I think so. Who was saying every time we stream, we legitimize it. That was my whole drive of like doing something like this, where it's like, just talk to people like people, like, and instead of like, hey, this is an ASMR thing, because if we put it in the context of ASMR, I think more people won't watch it, you know what I mean, or listen to it, who are like who aren't into it already. So
Right.
it's like I would rather have people come on and just speak normally. It's also whatever their comfort level is, and I'd rather get an interview with someone versus not having an interview with someone. So
Yeah, totally
um,
see that. And that makes total sense. Very smart way to do it.
I think so, but we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. Who knows? It might be, and the execution might be not great. We'll see what happens. So number one, do you experience ASMR, like the tingles and stuff? If you have, do you still?
So it's a hot take.
I'm here for hot takes.
I have never gotten the tingles. So I have no idea what that is. But like I don't know, like whenever I'm watching ASMR or listening to ASMR, it's not like tingles so to say, but it's like it's I don't know how to explain it. You know in like movies where like tunnel vision and the camera just like woo and it's like straight path focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. And that's why I like watching like your streams and like a lot of streams like that, like similar to yours, where it's like very productive. Because I use it mostly to focus
Mm-hmm.
because my ADHD fucking takes me in all sorts of routes. What are you laughing
I
at?
can't, I'm
What
sorry.
what did I do? I
You're
said something.
like your
Oh no.
streams like that are productive. I'm like, my streams are productive. I don't know why that got me so good, but I was just like, oh shit, okay.
Your streams are productive. Like I don't know. It's like I mean it is a podcast on most of your streams except for Sundays, of course. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, it like I don't know. It like hones me into what I'm doing because a lot of the time I don't use ASMR for like sleeping like a lot of people do. I mean, whenever I
Hmm.
raid out, I usually do fall asleep. Like whenever I start dozing at my desk, I'm like, all right, let's fucking get out of here. But a lot of the time, I pull up an ASMR video or stream or whatnot just to focus, just to have
Hmm.
like something in my ears at that point. So I don't get the tingles like everyone says. But I mean, in a
Hmm.
way, it's my own type of ASMR because I get like
Yeah.
tunnel vision.
Hmm. You. So this is something I've been extremely interested about, and why one of the reasons why I want to do interviews and talk to people about it, because I even think Jay, when she first started, she was like, she didn't even know what it was when she started. Like, and so it was, that's a whole story that I'm sure we covered it in the interview. But so if people want to hear that story, it's out there. The interesting part to me is that so I'm like, as far as ASMR goes, I'm like old timer, old head, right? It's like over a decade ago of listening. So like when I first hear it, number one, when I first heard the term ASMR, I was like, it's the Whisperverse. I'm never gonna call it ASMR. And then you can notice a pattern in my life, right? So as soon as ASMR started taking, then I started taking to it, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm one dude, I can't fight it. So as soon as there was like a definition and I saw autonomous sensory meridian response, I was like, okay, so it's the physical response you get. So that's what ASMR is. That's whatever ASMR is. And then I saw in the ASMR Discord the other day a pretty big ASMR streamer saying like ASMR is anything that you find relaxing. My first go-to thing was no, it's not. Absolutely not. Because that could be like sound baths or like, I don't know, a waterfall or like white noise, right?
Or water gushing down a pipe.
Or water gushing down a pipe. Thank you. Uh, that's for people who've been around, man.
Long live the pipe.
Mhm. Dude, like everybody loved that shit, and I was like,
Dude, it's so good.
I hated it. But that's the thing too. Like ASMR moving as like a thing is like it's becoming more than what I thought it was. And like I kind of had to, because I was going to do a show on that, basically like refuting that. And then I like the next day I was like, maybe not. Let's think about it. What does ASMR mean now? And so like that's kind of what I'm trying to poke at with people now and being like, what is like your definition? I guess, yeah. I don't really have this written down, but I mean, like, how would you describe ASMR, I guess, to somebody?
I mean, really, I mean, that gets asked a lot, like, because like
Hmm.
people will be searching around Twitch and they'll come in and be like, "What's this? What is ASMR?" And of course, we have like the big scary definition with all these big long words. I mean, ASMR, like you said, it's kind of like
Excuse me.
all enveloping at this point. Like, it pretty much covers a huge broad, because like obviously my ASMR is very different from other people's ASMR. So
Hmm.
like in terms of a definition, it's kind of hard to pin down. To me, ASMR is legit just whatever. I wouldn't say relaxing is the word for me. I guess it's more of like a comfort, whatever brings you back to
Hmm.
yourself. I know that sounds like really out there. But like,
No, it's like it's very zen,
yeah,
you
like
know.
whatever brings you back to your ground, and whether
Hmm.
that be like somebody whispering and keeping you company, or whether it be, like cork tapping or something, because a lot of people tune into like repetitive noises, and then that like
Yes.
brings them back to themselves. So like really relaxing isn't the word I'd use, but I would say ASMR is just something that brings you back to yourself and
Yeah.
makes you like, chill.
Every now and again, it'll freeze. The video will freeze,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's
I
happening on
pulled
your
up
end
my
too for me.
my internet graph. Yeah, I did for a second.
Hmm. The most important thing is that the audio is coming through, which it is. So I'm good with that. But the power of friendship, keeping the internet strong. Yeah, I think as long as there's like anything that's is triggering a response, like because that's what I try and steer away from, is like for a lot of people it is relaxing, but that's not necessarily what it is in total.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. That's what I've been like not struggling with, but just kind of thinking about the past like week or two now. Is I've been sitting here going like, it's definitely changed, and I have to kind of acknowledge that and figure out kind of what's
Yeah. Like
like,
flow with it essentially.
yeah, 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 and like relearn to flow again with how things are changing, even though now the term isn't. So now it's like I almost feel like there should be different terms for certain things, but at the same time, it's like if we're gonna classify it as ASMR, is it really that big of a deal? No, it's not. So, but I do like having. I think for me, it's like having things having their places, what I
Yeah, like
like,
you
and
want to
specific
sort things
language.
into their
Yeah.
subgenres. I do that
Hmm.
too.
It's like, are you a metal fan? Well, I'm like a. You could get into subgenres of metal. It's like, all right, let's see. Okay, so for you, I'm very interested for favorite triggers then. If you are,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because if it sends you into like this different kind of almost state of mind that you were like kind of describing, like I'm very interested
Mhm.
on what works for you.
Um, so I've talked about this briefly, and a lot of times people will ask me what my favorite triggers is, and like I know it's so that they can ask me to do it. So like a lot of the times I'll say like cork tapping, because I do enjoy cork tapping and I know I can do it. And of course I like the trippy stuff, like all
Hmm.
sorts of weird trippy things like echoing. But like in terms of like videos I will go out searching for, it's really fucking weird. Space documentaries.
Hmm.
Space sounds are probably my favorite. Like,
Space sounds.
and like cave sounds, which like everyone knows that I specialize in cave.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so like
The
cave
cave in the
sounds.
pond, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the cave in the pond.
Hmm.
I really thought that one through.
It's just an underwater cave. It's fine. We're
Yeah, don't be afraid. It's fine.
Mhm. You can breathe. It's all
But
good.
I'm more of a, put it into action, think about the consequences later.
Yes. Oh,
But
same.
But yeah, I would say my favorite trigger is definitely like soundscapes, or like even just somebody like rambling, sorta. Like when there's
Sure.
long continuous sentences without like pauses in between. So I don't
Hmm.
like I can like listen, and there's not really like time for me to like think about other things. It's
Yes.
mainly just keeping my brain busy so I can do what I need to do.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I hear that. So is that what you normally like use ASMR for? Is like more like concentration stuff and less like sleep?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't really use it to go to sleep because I get like too tuned into it, like my brain starts to wander. So yeah, like I don't usually use it to go to sleep as much as I do to like just like throughout the day when I'm trying to get some work done on the computer or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's just when I hear other people like talk about it, I'm like, God, I'm a psychopath. Because like every 2 seconds there's ASMR. Like if it wasn't for the interview, I would have it on right now. Like it's every 2 seconds. Like if I am not enveloped by it, my mind is going like crazy. So it's like I'm like, shut myself up, listen to somebody else. And so that's that's where I'm at. And then like going to sleep, it helps me relax. But I feel like I have certain people, like you and a handful of others, that are like just on at night when I'm going to sleep, and I'm like, this is the spot to be. And I just try and rotate you guys as much as I can, because I know I'm gonna sit in there and then fall asleep. So I'm like, well, I might as well. And then during the day, I have other people that I have on, like during the day, or YouTube videos. But I've been very Twitch addicted lately.
Yeah, YouTube ASMR, because of all the ads, so it's a little bit harder now.
It's honestly for both ends now. For like the ads, I feel like Twitch is they're trying to push ads more, and it's like,
Yes.
I get it, I do, but it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Because for ASMR people, like we want the ads to be in the beginning for the most part,
And that's it.
and that's it.
That's
Yeah,
all I want.
yep, that's all I want. Because if like I'm gonna run ads, I'm gonna do like a sponsorship, and even then I'm like, I don't know, unless it's something that I personally like would use or like do use. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to push it. So
Fair.
and even going back to the definition and describing ASMR on Twitch, I can't imagine you have to do it all that often. But or maybe I'd be surprised, I don't know. But do you ever have to, like in real life, do you ever tell people like what you do?
Well, there's some like people that know me in real life that visit my stream.
Sure, yeah.
Like they also stream, but they don't do ASMR. But it's funny because ASMR kind of brought us back together because we met when I was like 19, and then we had like a little bit of a falling out and we didn't talk until I started streaming again, and they found out that I streamed and they visited my stream, and now we're like besties. So
Yeah.
so like people that know me in IRL, some of them visit, but like I tell my roommate and like the other people that I stream, I don't tell them what I do. I know when I visited to West Virginia, like a lot of people were intrigued by the fact that my job is streaming. Because everyone thinks it's this awesome job and everyone wants to do it, and it's very fun. So like a lot of people were like, do you game? What do you do? And I was like, oh crap, what do I say here?
Here we go, we're getting into specifics.
And so my excuse, I guess, is that I'm kind of like a just chatting streamer, but quieter, and sometimes I make music with random items. And that's what I tell people.
It's organized sound. I'll take the music, yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, like when I applied to my job, the only thing I did for 6 months was stream. So there was a huge gap in the resume. So they were like, well, what did you do? And I was like, my own business. Like, I don't. And eventually it like got down to them like asking me and like whittling away like what I do. And I was like, okay, if I tell you specifically what I do, I'm the only one who does it. So please don't ask me about specifically what I do. So,
yeah, I'm like kind of scared if I ever have to put in an application, because I quit my job back in October of 22. That's a large chunk of time where I have nothing on my resume. So I'm like kind of terrified because I've been thinking about applying to the local library. I'm like a little worried that they're going to be like, what do you do? And I'm going to be like,
Just a casual internet celebrity.
It's not like, well, I wouldn't call myself a celebrity. It's so weird because if somebody were to find my stream, I think my stream is like the best part of me, because that's when I'm like at my like top of my fucking shit, and that's when I'm like being the best human I can be. So like if somebody found it, I wouldn't be embarrassed by them finding it. It's more so just like the stigma surrounding it, I guess.
Yes.
Is that they're automatically going to go to the obvious stigmas. of what it is instead of actually deep diving into what I do.
Mm-hmm. Instead of watching and going, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
this is pretty cool.
yeah, it's like, oh, it's just kind of really chill. Yeah, dude, that's what we do. Which is also why it's great to like interview and talk to everybody in the ASMR community, because it's like it's literally what we do. It's like chill and hang out, like, but professionally. I mean, I don't, but semi. But it was like, it's the craziest thing to me. It's like, because I joked when I was a kid, I was like, I would love to make money sleeping, and like this is the closest thing that I have to that.
Gonna get.
It's pretty much just as good, yeah. But I do think it's very tricky in like a job interview. Thank God, because it was an older guy who was interviewing me. Not that much older, but he was interviewing me, and he goes, you know, oh, what did you do for work like during this time, whatever. And then we slowly got to it, whatever. And I was like, do you know what ASMR is? And he was like, yeah. I was like, the way he said it would like just like that affirmative, like, yeah. And then he was like, yeah, I listened to it. And I was like,
Oh.
Just
relief.
Yeah. It's like, thank God. It was like, oh, I don't have to explain it to you. It was like sweating. I'm like, I don't know what to say to you right now. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's probably going to happen again soon. But yeah, we'll see.
You got lucky on that one.
I got super lucky because it was just like an older guy who was in like a higher up management position. I was like, this dude's gonna have no fucking clue. It's like,
yeah, whenever I told my old boss, me and him were like super close. Like we were the duo, because he was like the store general manager and then I was his assistant. We were like basically always together. And whenever I told him, because he was leaving the job and then a week later I was leaving, we put in our 2 weeks notice like back to back.
Rough. Great for you, rough for them.
Sucks for them.
Oh yeah.
Basically, when he was asking me like where I was going, I was like, oh, I'm going into self-employment and I'm going to be doing streaming. And he was like, you're never going to cut it. You're never going to be able to do it. You need to get a job. You got to make connections. You're going to, because he was very like old school. And I was like, dude, it's fine. I'll figure it out. But he was like convinced because like, it's very old school thinking.
I mean, there's a lot of people who also think that you have to stay at one job for 40, 50, 60 years. So
yes.
Like, that doesn't happen, dude. Again, I'm sure we're going to hit some topics where I'm like, I could go off about this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I even brought up before, like in another interview where it was like politics and the news and stuff. And I was like, we keep those this way. We push those this way. We don't talk about those. So that would be a whole thing, especially for me. But
oh yeah, like I love having conversations with that like that, but it could go on for hours and hours. Like
I would gladly talk about it off stream, off recording. Yeah. Like I was like, I will talk to anybody about it.
I don't need a trail.
I don't think I have any hot takes. I think it's just not something I want, you know.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it on somebody else's stream if they want, but like I'm not going to do it to myself. If that's what they want to talk about, sure, man. But I'm not big into politics though anyway, so it usually ends up just making me mad, and then I just you know, so
very fair.
Not here to do that. So let's see, if you could change something about your channel. Now, like when I say that, I mean more like, I guess if there was an opportunity you could take advantage of to do something different, but like keep everything else the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. If it doesn't, I could try wording it a different way. But
I mean, I
haven't found a great way to like word that.
Yeah. That's tough.
I totally just spilled everything all over myself. Fantastic. Super
great.
good.
An opportunity for me to think.
This is the part that gets edited out. Or maybe I keep it in. I don't know. We'll fucking see. If I think it's funny enough, I'll leave it in. I just fucking waterfalled the shit out of my...
So everything stays the same, but like an opportunity presents itself to change something.
Yeah, maybe a big upgrade, maybe a move, you know, or like if there's any big creative swing you want to take, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a lot of big ideas, and I kept saying like, when I move into this apartment, things are gonna change around here. Um,
Hmm.
and
I
I have yet to
believe.
do any
I
of
believe.
that. But I had this grandiose idea that I think would just like honestly take my stream to like a whole new level. Besides a girl sitting in her closet and doing weird shit, it was this idea that I had a long time ago to build a tree, and it was gonna be like this all-encompassing tree over the pond, and there was gonna be like little fruits and stuff, and I was gonna like basically anytime someone like subbed or something, they would get like a leaf on the tree, and we would have like this big flourishing tree.
That's
And
cool. Yeah.
I was going to install it was a very complex idea, and I still plan on doing it. I just don't have the materials for it yet. But I was gonna put one of those like bingo rollers, you know how they like
Sure. Yeah.
roll. Yeah, I was gonna put one of
Hmm.
those inside the tree,
Okay.
and it was gonna have all my triggers on little balls.
Hmm.
And anytime somebody wanted like a trigger and they're like, I don't know what I want, I would just go and pull this like limb, and it would pop out a trigger, and then we would have a trigger to do. And it was like, I don't know why I've harped on that for so long, but I love the
Hmm.
idea of it because I've always felt that my like background is a little bit, I don't know, if you like walked into the room in real life, you'd probably be like, yeah, I probably don't want to be here any longer, so let's go. so, so anything that can make the vibe cozier. And then I also like want to save up for a new camera because this is just like a little
Mm.
webcam that I've had forever. And I feel like people expect a lot more out of me now that I've been doing it for so long. So
Mm. I mean, I
so
feel that even after a year, people are like, hey, you need this, you need this. I was like, I know. Are you gonna
yeah.
fucking pay for it? Because like, and like, hey, no shade to them because they actually bought me a new desk. So like, I can't complain.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's a
the
standing desk. It
generosity of
rises
the
and shit. Like, this
oh
thing's fucking
shit,
insane. Like,
dude,
yeah,
you're a pro.
I literally can't like complain because like I got the coolest
That's
thing on the
amazing.
planet right now.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
standing desks are no joke. I love
Hmm.
those things.
Yeah, it's great. I don't have anything else really for stream, but
But we got the desk that
but
we
we
can
got the
stand
desk. Hmm.
and we can sit.
Exactly. And that's all I need personally. So, I mean, there's always upgrades, right? That you can be making.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's always something that's better. And
hmm,
gosh, that's part of the reason I hate upgrading is because as soon as I buy something, I'm like, ah, shit, I
there's
should
always
get
a new
that.
thing. Mhm. For me at this point, man, I'm like, if I get the microphones I want, I'm gonna be set. That's it. That's all.
Oh,
Like,
dude, I got these microphones and I was like, all right, it's over. I'm about to pop off. And now I want a camera.
yes. Well, I know I'm gonna need a camera. This is I don't know how old this camera is. Like, that's how old it is. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. It's older than my computer, which is older than my car. And my
Oh
car
my
I got in 2016, 17. So,
We're almost at a decade.
and I need a new car also. So,
Oh my gosh, it always happens all at once.
all at once. Oh my God, all at once. It's insane. Yeah, I think the tree idea is a cool idea. We need to get you an actual pond.
Oh yeah, let me just install that back there real quick.
We can put
I'll
the
go get
tree
some
by the
real
pond.
fish.
Every time there's
You
a new
sub. You
new
sub,
koi
you
in
get
the
a fish
pond.
in there. Yeah, I just film it in the corner like, please God, send help.
It's just a pile after a while.
Oh, that's so morbid.
It's very more. Dude, like I said, I was like, my humor gets dark, and I should not be let out of my room.
Sometimes I'll like make a joke on stream and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot what category I was in again.
I know
Like,
some
what
people
was
will
it?
come in and I'm like dying laughing. I'm like, dude, I have to ban you. I have to ban you.
Nice. Somebody was like, yeah, I'm like 30 and all my friends are getting married and have kids. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 26 and I'm showing no signs of life. And then I was like, oh wait.
Oh fuck, it's just actually the realest shit. Because I've talked to a few people that have, number one, made me feel better about my situation. Number two, oh man, it's rough. Like I have like this, like X, Y, and Z, and then they're like, me too. Like it's the same. It's the same. So like, don't worry about it. And yeah, it's rough because I said if I have a if I'm forced to have a full-time job outside of this, I'm just not going to do this anymore because it's not like I don't have the energy for it. I am a sloth, and that's it. That's all I got time for is being a sloth. So
Yeah, whenever I was working full time, I stopped streaming. So like if anybody ever goes and looks at my stats, it's like stream, and then it's this long flat line, and then I started streaming again once I quit my job. But yeah, working full time and streaming is just, if you can do it, I'd power to you, but I will never again do that.
it takes so much. And I was doing fighting games at the time, and I was trying to get better. And it was like the first time I was really playing fighting games, so I was learning the basics, and then
Holy
like
crap.
screaming why my like one of my punches isn't working, and I'm like, and now I'm like, come on, man. But that shit was stressful, and how I got over 10 people in a stream regularly doing that was insane to me. But now doing ASMR, I'm like, it's a different stressful thing.
Yeah.
My dice. My I have so many dice right here that are all trained to the highest number, and they have to be in their spot.
Just the frustrated whisper though. My dice.
Oh, my dice. They I don't let out the voices very often. Slowly, if I play if I play with my dice, I'm gonna start doing the dungeon master voices, and we can't have that.
Oh my gosh, let's just trade back and forth our D&D voices for a whole hour. I'm sure the podcast will very much appreciate that.
Yes, and it'll probably be a two-parter, one of the normal interview, and then the other one will just be a real.
Yeah, you'll just interview all my D&D characters. How about that?
Oh man, we would be here for years. All my D&D characters. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, they all just meet each other. It's not an interview anymore. It's an intervention.
It is, but it's an intervention where we're encouraging each other to like do the thing. Intervene to do it more. That is the one thing. I was like, I probably could talk to you about D&D forever.
Oh yeah.
Because we haven't. So one thing I did do before getting in here was I watched your first video on your YouTube channel. As
I've thought about deleting that so many times, but every time I do, people are like, "No, don't," and I'm like, "Okay, fine."
I think it's good to keep that stuff. Like I have my first ever stuff, and like even on my YouTube channel now, like even though I've geared more towards other things than when I first started, I was like, I kind of want to keep them there. Like there were a lot of people who came in, saw it, and enjoyed it. I was like, sure, I don't really like it, and we're not going to keep doing it, but like, all right. It'll be cool to look back at one day too. So.
Oh yeah, I'm very cinema. I never fully delete anything. It's more so just hiding it from embarrassment.
Yes, bury that shit deep, but don't delete it. If anything, that was my biggest motivation for making content, was to get rid of the old shit.
The new content was just the fresh dirt.
Yes, yeah. It's like, man, that smells good. Oh man, shit. Oh, I hate how real it is.
Gosh, I don't get much human interaction. This is gonna be the highlight of my week.
Man, since I moved, I flew back up to New York once, and I was like, man, people, that's crazy, huh? It's like, 'cause that's
dude. Today, I don't know what took over me, dude. I went to the DMV, right? And I embarrassed myself because I've never been to this DMV because I just moved here.
Right.
So I like walk in, I'm standing there like a freaking knot on the log, and there's like chairs lining, and everyone's sitting there staring at me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll wait here. And then somebody else comes in, and behind me was a number punch thing where you take a number. So I had been sitting there fucking waiting for somebody to talk to me, and there was a number punch thing right behind me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And of course I have to go sit next to somebody because there wasn't that many seats, but there was like everyone had a seat essentially. So I sat down next to this woman, and I was like, I'm going to talk to this woman. And so I just started talking to her. And I was like, why am I doing this? I've never done this in my entire life. So now I'm just that person that if you sit next to me, I'm going to talk to you.
I mean, I feel like for me, streaming has been a very much so pushed me in that direction of like somebody pops in and I'm like able to go. Okay. Little embarrassing story. There was some dude, I work in a produce section. There was some dude who came up to the salads and was like looking for something. I forgot what it was, but one of my mannerisms on stream is being like, do you want this one thing? Yes or no? Like YN. And he comes up to me and then like asks me for something. And I was like, is this one you wanted? And then I did the yes or no. And I was just like, stop, go away. And I wanted to sprint through a wall as fast as I could. So it was awful. So it seeps into your real life.
I hate when the ASMR personality seeps in. Because like people ask me all the time, like, do you make those noises in your real life? And like I do sometimes when I'm not like paying attention. Like right now I know I'm talking, so I'm not like doing my freaking clicks and whatever. And so, but like whenever I'm just like walking around the apartment, I'll just like be making my noises as I do. And my roommate's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm chilling.
I'll do it at work, which is like scary.
I used to work too.
Yeah. I'll just like walk around, like start doing stuff. Or like I'm so used to talking to myself that I'll just like kind of be inner monologuing out loud.
Dude, I do that so much.
Yeah. Because of like
I'll just be sitting
floor.
there and I'll be like, I'm going to talk about that on stream. And I'll just keep on talking. And my roommate's like, are you talking to me? And I'm like, no.
I could be. Do you want me to be? You can join in on the conversation if you want. Because I'm more scared
I'm
of like
curious.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just I'm like I'll be sweeping or like cleaning a floor or something, and I'll just be talking to myself, and my head's down because I'm looking at something. I'm like, I hope I don't look up one day and there's just fucking somebody right there, you know, like, and being like, all right, I quit, I'm out, goodbye. I'd be done.
I'm curious though, like if somebody did a full day where they're just like talking out loud, not necessarily to somebody, not necessarily to themselves, but how many people would like willingly join into the conversation without being invited into it? Like I'm genuinely curious how much that would help invite people into your space, or if it would just like creep people out and they'd be like, okay, I'm going this direction.
I think you'd have to be the most charismatic person on the planet to probably pull that off. I think most people would be like, that way, you know, like immediately. I don't know, like there's something about me, I think, because people are like, oh, you have like a really good radio voice, and I was like, cool, thank you, that I think people are maybe more okay with it with me, but like I don't even think I could pull it off though with that. I don't, no way.
Well, now if somebody is out there talking to themselves, I'm joining in on their conversation. That's for sure.
Oh, if I catch somebody now, I'm gonna be like, oh, dude, I'm in now. I have to see now. Now I'll have somebody to report back to on it. So.
Yeah, for sure. We've just changed the whole path of our lives right now.
There's a new spreadsheet. I'm gonna calculate percentages and success rates.
There's a new spreadsheet. Hold on, girly pop. New spreadsheet dropping.
So we've gotten so far from my questions.
Oh,
which is perfect. That's exactly what I want to happen, though. So actually, this one I'm very interested for you in particular, because I feel like you've had a very unique journey when I think about other ASMR creators, like, and how they kind of got to where they've been. I feel like parts of your road have been a little bumpy. We've had conversations, and there have been other things.
I forgot to pave the rest of the road. Kind of bumpy.
Honestly, inconsiderate of them. You know, it's your car is fine. Anyway, but I feel like you've had a lot of like standout moments and achievements for you. I mean, for the awards on their own, but like there's other things as well, like getting partner and stuff like that. What like stands out to you the most, like as like something you've achieved via streaming?
Oh man, this is gonna be such a cheesy answer. It's gonna seem like such a cheesy cop out answer.
I love cheese.
But honestly, like, oh gosh, how do I say it without sounding super cheese? Like, the pond itself, like the community that it breeds, to have like something that I feel like, oh God, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Hold on, the internal monologue is monologuing.
We breathe,
But
we're
to
fine.
have something, to have something that I finally feel a part of is like a huge achievement that I never thought I would see in my life. So honestly, just like, I remember one stream, I went online and suddenly like, if I had stopped talking, I don't think it would have interrupted chat one bit because everyone was having their own conversations. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
wasn't a part of it. I was just there as the background at that point. And when that happened, I was so fucking proud. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've done it. I can leave now."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
I've
like
spun it on them.
now,
Holy shit. And parachute out of here.
but yeah, like, and now every time I go live, like when somebody enters, like, I don't know, it's like very cheesy, but it like, I don't know, it warms my heart to see like everyone greet each other and everyone like be so close and like support each other, and like I'm just a part of that. And that's like super cool for me. So that's probably like my biggest standout. And I mean, getting partner is cool too.
Yeah.
But,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
like
that's
milestones
probably,
and achievements, you know, they're always great.
yeah.
It's literally like the friendship we made along the way. But like
Yeah,
that's
literally.
but it's actually what it is, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Because I've
like
had that moment too.
I remember like one moment where it was like holy shit. Was I posted a YouTube video, which I haven't posted on YouTube in a long time. People never let me forget about it. But I posted the trippy video, and I woke up the next morning and it had like reached like 1,000 views, which I was like, whoa, that's a little intense. And then it
Hmm.
just kept going. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing this. And so that was like kind of wild to see, just like, because I've never had like content like pop off or
Mm.
have people that want to view it. So like to make something that people actually wanted to see was like, I don't know, it was cool.
Yeah, there you go. I man, I wish I wish I had, because like for you, like you put out a couple videos before that happened. The first thing I ever released is still my highest viewed thing. It's it went off for no reason, and I was like, now what? Now
Yeah, like how do
that'll
I
never happen
follow that
again.
up?
Yeah, like it's because it was like my favorite. It was reviewing like my favorite person at the time. Now that I've done a little bit more research, I'm like, not fantastic. But at the time, I I didn't realize they said some things and did some things, but they which is fine.
Always the worst.
It's oh my god, my heart, dude, it still hurts. But the looked up to this person for so long, and I was like, no, dude, you can't do that. But
Dude, I always say, like, anytime somebody asks me about my first concert, I'm like, yeah, it was a great concert. We're not going to talk about who it was.
mhm,
Moving on.
yeah, where yeah, it's just God, I hate that shit. Because my buddy asked me, he was like, what if one day, because he knows I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. This is actually on one of my podcasts.
Oh my God, Foo Fighters, my heart.
Mhm. Yeah, well, he was like, so you'll relate then. he's like, all right, so one day, these are his words. He's like, one day you find out Dave Grohl in big lights, just Dave Grohl, poopy head. he's like, he's like, worst person, scum of the earth. He's like, would you? And then he puts out an album after that. He's like, would you then listen to that album? And I was like, no. I would listen to the old stuff because it's still in my head. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get rid of it.
Right.
And
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things. So again, a whole other podcast probably, but But it's stuff like that where it's just like super unfortunate to like run into those. But bringing
Yeah.
it back to the positive that we started on, the I just wish I had something blow up later because it's like, man, now what do I do? Although streaming has been the next pop off because I didn't think I'd even get over 100 followers, and now I'm sitting over 1,000. So
I feel that.
yeah. So hopefully one day I get to be in your shoes of being like, I got to quit my job and do my thing. Like that would be, that's the dream, man. You're living it. So congrats. Um, even though it's been a couple years still.
Yeah.
And congrats on the pond. Cause you know, that's, dude, it really is. It's one of the coolest places on Twitch. I remember, and I can say that confidently, especially because I remember there's not many places where I remember being dropped off or seeing like the first interactions with streams. I remember BrickClick rating you and then dropping me off in there, and then I was just sitting there and I was like, this is dope as hell. And then I think I subbed immediately, like pretty immediately. Something happened, and then yeah, because something happened, I don't know, but then you're like, oh yeah, everybody gets name traces at the end, and I was like, oh dope, I won't be here, but I'll you know, it was the first time I went back and watched a VOD also because I was like, I wanted to see my name trace. So
You know, I've always wondered if people actually go and watch those at the end. So that's good to know that there is people out there that go
yeah,
and watch
absolutely. Yeah. Because that's kind of what like tied me into it, the whole thing, because I was like, that's fucking cool. I was like, I have to stay for full streams. What the fuck? I was like, I was like, this is dope as hell. I love this. So yeah, like, and then that's how I found out what trippy ASMR was. I didn't know about that for the longest time. So always learning something new. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's been super cool. Yeah, I have a specific story for with that, which is always fun. So
That is very fun.
So one of the things I like to do on here is like, we don't, I mean, you might be a little different in that I think you do talk about things you do like off stream, which I think a lot of people don't. They kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like focusing on other people during stream. But I guess if you had to say like, obviously without doxing, some of the like the favorite things that you do off of stream that like maybe you don't get to talk about a lot.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say crocheting, but they hear me talk about that all the time, so we'll skip over that one.
I mean, there's like a ball of yarn behind you, I think.
Only one, not just one. But honestly, off stream, I'm kind of like, I'm very much an introvert. I don't like leaving my house if I don't have to. But crafting, I stumbled upon crafting last year, like late last year, because I didn't have a car. And so I was very bored in my house all the time. I went through so many phases. I couldn't even remember all of them. And then I stumbled upon crafting. And now, like, basically crafting takes up my whole life. Like, if I'm not crocheting, then I'm drawing and making stickers. And if I'm not doing that, I've recently dove into a rabbit hole of clay sculpting that I'm getting into now. And so, like, honestly, most of the time, if I'm not streaming, I'm crafting or making things, just making things. And that's what brings me joy in life. So that's what I do.
Yeah,
But
hell yeah.
oh, also I'm being forced to learn tennis. So I'm
Okay.
playing tennis on the weekends. Nobody saw
I
that
mean-
one coming.
No, I did not see that coming. I mean, it's always good to be active though, because like that's where I struggle with. I'm like, let me at least have a job that's gonna keep me active. At least if I'm gonna have a job, like
Yeah, I'm not active, which is why I'm being forced into it.
yes, it's never a bad thing. And at least tennis, you're still kind of like, tennis is a great introvert thing because it's like a one-on-one with like, and you're in a fence. It's like I'm in a box
Nobody
away
can
from people.
bother
This is
you.
fucking great. Yeah. And it's like if somebody tries to, you can literally like have a ball come at you and swing at them. Like you already have a weapon too, so it's like I have my anti-people thing on me. I'm good. I feel safe. Always have a contingency plan, you know. As another
I
introvert,
that when I got into tennis, but here we are.
you know, everything and too much. If I'm like, there's something to talk about, we're gonna milk it dry.
tennis? Oh, I've been waiting for this one.
I've actually been dragged to play tennis many times, and it's been like,
Really?
it's an odd thing to be like, that's
Track.
the thing, you know, like, and it's never been me. It's always been like, hey, you want to go play tennis from this other person? And I'm like, either it being from a significant other or a friend in school or something, just being like, hey, tennis. Why tennis? Why is it tennis? Stop. But for some
Why can't
reason,
we go like biking? We gotta do
right.
tennis.
Like I used to go biking, hiking. Like I was very in the woods a lot of the time as a kid. Like climbing trees and stuff, finding my own little nestled spot and just being like, this is really pretty up here, and just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that
just
was
staying
like,
there.
yeah, yeah. And I know people have done that, and they would bring like art supplies and they would go up and like draw and whatever. And I would just
Yes.
sit up there, close my eyes, and just listen. Like that's all I did. I was the weirdest fucking kid on the planet.
You were like, oh, free ASMR? Let me get in on this.
Yeah, before I even knew it, right? Because I would just, because my parents were like, would look for me and then they're like, he's probably in a tree. Like,
Oh my gosh, same.
mm-hmm.
Literally, I was always in my neighbor's tree. Good thing he
Yeah.
was chill about it. But me and my
Mm-hmm.
friend built a tree house in there and he didn't know about it. But it's story for another time.
I mean, that's good, you know, just being like, you were so good at keeping it camouflaged. Like, they just didn't know.
Oh, I wouldn't say that because we I don't know why I got the bright idea to climb to the very top of the tree, and because trees are trees, they get thinner at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, this is safe. Anyways, I climbed to the top of the tree and stuck a little flag up there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And so there was a flag on top of the tree. And I was like,
My
dumbass.
grandparents had a rule because it was the way our house was set up was like there were three houses, we shared a driveway, but the middle house was always somebody different. The farthest house was my grandparents' house, and there was this huge tree they had in the center, and I was always like the top. That was always the tree to be conquered kind of thing. And they were like, you're not allowed to go above like the second like ring. And for me as a kid, I was like, it's a rule, I can't break it. And my brother's like, climb that shit. So it was just like the back and forth of that. It was very funny. Never climbed it.
God.
Never climbed it all the way up.
You never climbed. Well, now you
Never
got to go
did.
back and climb it.
It's gonna be some stranger's house. I'm just gonna be like, I used to live here. Don't worry.
I just need to climb this tree right now.
I bet you if there is a way for me, I think it might be an office building now. But if we go there and be like, hey, I used to live here. And if that tree's still there, be like, can I be here for like 10 minutes? I'm 30 now. Give me 20. So, actually, haven't climbed a tree in a long time. So we'll see how that goes. Get a trampoline ready or something, please.
Call the fire department. We have a cat stuck in the tree.
Yeah. It's me at the top, like laying there. Just meow. Man, there's no good way to end this, but I think we've done it.
That's the best way to end this interview.
I do that with everything. Like that's the way I close everything. But at least the opportunity I want to give you is at the end here is to plug anything you want, wherever people can find you, wherever you want people to find you. More importantly.
I mean, obviously on Twitch under Pyesees. I'm not going to spell that because I don't know how to. Let's be real here.
We did need a journal to get the names.
I think the main thing I've been plugging a lot recently is my art stuff because I plan on opening up my own art business. So under starry.koi on Instagram. Starry.koi on Instagram's fine. No. Starry Koi art on YouTube because I do want to start making things on YouTube again. So those are the main things.